If you're like me, the constant stream of new games is getting expensive. Your time is getting more and more valuable due to a damn near lack of it. You're trying to stay healthy and also trying to find time for gaming. Being a well-rounded person is hard enough as it is, and keeping up with the gaming zeitgeist makes it nearly impossible. Plus, it's becoming a bit of a chore, and to be honest, I've had enough of it. This is how I'm combating FOMO in gaming. So for the last year and change, I've had this YouTube channel, and for a while I was feeling the compulsion to play new games and have reviews out, also keep up with the zeitgeist so I'm able to talk about it. I've been writing for lordsofgaming.net, which is a great website. If you haven't heard of it, you should go check it out. And everything keeps this constant compulsion to always be playing the latest and greatest. There's a little bit of like a keeping up with the Joneses kind of thing. And also like social media just kind of is really what I think is the most compelling driver, kind of the main source of this fear of missing out that I'm kind of just like sick of. I feel like it's negatively impacted the way that I enjoy video games, and I want to do something about that. And I think that most people out there just aren't playing games that way. It may really just be those of us that are, you know, really connected to the industry, or feel like they enjoy the industry and want to be in the mix. I think there's a lot of people that may keep up with the Joneses because of water cooler talk. You know, they have friends that keep up with all the latest and greatest games, and that's maybe the most valid reason. But in my experience, I've personally felt that when I buy a game to play with my friends, I either don't play with them as much as I want to. They're always talking through cutscenes that I want to listen to, or, you know, we only really have time to get the gang together to play like once a week because we're all pushing 30, and, you know, we're just getting older and it's harder to find the time. But really, I think there are 4 core tenets to all of this that really we need to be mindful of. The first tenet is that the main source of FOMO is social media, and the addiction to it is the compelling driver. Personally, I've gone on and off with social media. There are times where I really enjoy it, and I think it can be really utilitarian, and it's a great source of news and all this stuff. But also, I've found that I'm constantly inundated with the opinions of people that I really don't care to read, and then that infects my brain, and then I'm thinking about that, and that's wasting valuable mental bandwidth, I think. And there's a lot of just like fake drama on Twitter where, you know, you'll see somebody says something, and you immediately lump them into like a PlayStation fanboy or an Xbox fanboy or something to that effect. And then you'll see another person say something that you would also lump into that category, but it's contradictory of what the first person said. And then everybody acts like what those two people said is representative of an entire audience of people or demographic that are fanboys of a certain thing. And it just really doesn't make any sense. And you just see people just going back and forth about a lot of stuff. And personally, I feel like that infects my brain almost, where now I'm thinking about how stupid the spat is that I saw over, you know, Starfield exclusivity or something, and all of a sudden it's like, why am I even thinking about that? Why am I letting people that are mostly uninformed or ill-informed infect my brain with stuff that I don't need to be considering? And I think that a lot of people, not just even outside of video games, I think its effect on video games and the video game industry is kind of a byproduct of a larger addiction to social media. And I think a lot of us are addicted to social media. I would say that I definitely am. It highlights my bad impulse control when I'm in, I would say, kind of like a downward turn, like when I'm not totally taking care of myself and I'm kind of operating at my lowest RPMs. That is when social media becomes this crutch that I lean on, and then I honestly think it further digs me into not getting better and getting healthy. So I think that social media and the way that we're addicted to it compels us to stay in it. And then through social media, we get a lot of negativity in gaming, but also really my main focus here is that you see people playing the latest and greatest and talking about how great their experiences are with these games. And then all of a sudden you're feeling really compelled to, drop that money to play the Callisto Protocol, even though, money's tight right now, but you want to be a part of the conversation and you want to have something to say and you want to contribute to the conversation. But, I think that there are probably a lot of people out there that are able to just go, you know what, I don't need to take part in this. I'll wait for it to go on sale. And really what I'm kind of waking up to is that for a long time I thought I was that way and then realized I'm not. I am really influenced by the tweets that I see, and it's something that I'm trying to get a wrangle on. And at the core of it, it's an addiction to social media. And as soon as I stop doing it, I don't feel those effects. All of a sudden, all that stuff fades into obscurity and I feel liberated in a weird way. And I've tested it out a number of times, just delete the apps off my phone. That's kind of like the main thing. I think when, you don't want to delete your account, which may be me clinging on to the last shreds of addiction that I have to it. But really, I think that just by getting it off your phone, I have to sit down at my computer and type in Twitter and log in and then interact with Twitter, post what I'm going to post, scroll it. And then what's weird is that having the distance from it, when I come back to Twitter, I realize how ridiculously just silly it is for me to spend my time there. And then I get off. So it's like I can schedule a tweet to promote a video or an article that I wrote, or, something to that effect, search the discourse if you want to, or, just see if you have any notifications. And then if you don't have anything to actually contribute, just get out of there, because ultimately nothing needs to be said on Twitter. And I think that if you really just sat and had your thought instead of sharing your thought, you may come to some kind of resolution about it. And as somebody that when I'm anxious and depressed, my obsessive compulsive disorder gets even worse and I start ruminating like crazy. And I think that going to Twitter about something I'm thinking about actually prolongs the rumination instead of putting an end to it. Because if I really just sit with it, I'll come to the logical conclusion and then move on. But that's really the first core tenet. The next one I want to touch on is that there's just the simple fact that games get better as they get cheaper. First of all, I want to acknowledge the fact that, waiting for games to go on sale does mean that the developers get less profit off of it. And I would argue that, the publisher got it on sale, and I don't think that there's any shame in buying a game on sale, and any kind of argument around that you're not supporting the devs is, I think it's picking and choosing and being really kind of nitpicky about things. Like, if you didn't get a game at launch and you get it later on down the line, that's between you and whoever struck up that deal on the marketplace. It has nothing to do with you not supporting the devs. If you didn't have the money, why go broke trying to support the devs? You know what I mean? To me, that's a weird argument. And if money is tight, this is a luxury kind of hobby to be in. And I think that, spending money to support the devs, if it's detrimental to supporting yourself, is not a good idea. And with updates, games are constantly getting better. And if we're being totally honest, a lot of games launch in a rough state. They have bugs, they have things they need to sort out, but they had to hit that launch date, and they've already delayed 2-3 times. And it makes me only want to buy new games when I hear that they launch and that they are feature complete, ready to go, no bugs, just a great game. Like something like Chained Echoes, I've been hearing nothing but great things about. No performance issues, no bugs. It seems good to go, and it's only $24.99. That's maybe a moment you speak with your wallet and you go, you know what, I don't think I'm going to get to this right now, but maybe I do buy it just to support the devs for doing something that I think is an admirable accomplishment in today's day and age. But ultimately, like, I'm gonna take care of myself before I take care of some publisher or some dev studio. I want to enjoy your art, that definitely I want to enjoy your art, but not at the expense of me being okay, financially. And I think that there's just the simple core truth that games get cheaper as they get better, because it's just with the passage of time, you might be able to get, if you waited to play The Witcher until the complete edition came out with all the bonuses and everything, then you paid essentially what everyone else paid, and then they had to buy the DLC and you just got the game. Kind of feels like you win, and if you're not measuring dicks of who saw it first, you have whatever experience you were going to have, you had it, plus some additional, quality of life improvements, bonus missions, all this stuff. It's, good things come to those who wait. It's kind of a timeless truth, and I think it applies here in video games. The third tenet that I want to kind of touch on is that rushing through games results in a lackluster experience. And what I mean by that is when you're playing something because you got to hurry up and finish it before, the next game drops. It's like if Elden Ring comes out and Horizon Forbidden West comes out and you're rushing through Horizon Forbidden West so that you can play Elden Ring, you're going to have a lackluster experience in Horizon instead of actually taking the time and dipping your toes into that world and kind of immersing yourself in it and having fun with it and doing all the side quests and chipping away at everything and really taking it in. I think there's also this weird compulsion that I find myself having, and I think I'm not alone in it, that you bought the game, so you at least want to roll credits on it. And you're like, oh, I'll circle back. But how many of us really circle back when there's always something new or like just on the horizon? And pardon the pun. And then you also have, all of the backlog games that you've been meaning to get to. It's just this constant, there's always something, and it gets kind of annoying. And I personally want to spend more time with the games that I'm playing. If we're spending all of this money and it is this luxury hobby, why am I rushing through Horizon Forbidden West so that I can finish it when I spent $70 on it? Why am I rushing through Ghostwire Tokyo when I'm actually really enjoying it just so I can play like KO the Kangaroo for review that nobody's going to give a shit about, Actually, that video did all right relative to my YouTube channel, but at the same time, like, that driving compulsion, I think, is ruining the way I enjoy games. And I'm rushing through everything, and the proof positive is there was a couple of times last year when I was a little burnt out, and I was like, I just want to play a game to play it. Not because I need to have thoughts on it, not because I need to write something about it, not because I want to make a video about it. I just want to play it because I want to play it. And I played the original Alan Wake, and then I played the Alan Wake remaster, and I had such a great time, and I didn't do anything with it. It wasn't for anything other than my enjoyment. And right now, currently, I'm playing through The Witcher 3, and I'm going through it meticulously, and I'm actually finding that I'm really enjoying my time with it. I could be playing the Callisto Protocol or playing Chained Echoes or playing something like that, but The Witcher 3 just got an awesome update. I started and finished it a number of times but dropped it because something else came up. But now, I had it on disc. I wanted to play it. It's got the new update for PS5 and Series X. I want to dive in and really immerse myself in it, and I'm having a great time. Granted, the update makes it kind of zeitgeisty. I'll extend that olive branch to the devil's advocates out there, but it is an older game, and I could be playing Cyberpunk, who's also having this renaissance right now, but I'm diving into The Witcher 3 and I'm enjoying my time, and I have thoughts on it, and maybe I'll save that for another video later. But I think that constantly rushing through things, even like a 10-hour experience, instead of being like, I'm gonna really sink my teeth into this, and oh, that made it 14 hours. Why am I trying to rush through this and call it a 10-hour experience when I could have really went for it and got the platinum trophy and, had something to hang my hat on and be able to actually put that game to bed, and only revisit it if I want the experience, not because there's a carrot dangling in front of me of a platinum trophy or 100% completion for achievements or something like that. I just think that allowing myself to just sit with a game, something like The Witcher, for who knows how long I'll be playing that. I'm definitely going to play less games this year with this new initiative, but if it means that I'm more thoroughly enjoying these experiences that I've spent money on, I think I'm okay with that. The last tenet that I want to touch on is that access to excess makes me feel inundated. And subscription services like Game Pass give me that same feeling Netflix gives me, where I'm like, okay, there's a lot here. I don't really know what to do. I don't know what's the best use of my time. And I'm paying for this every month, so I need to be using it. So I need to constantly be justifying the money I'm spending. The funny thing is that I don't need Xbox Game Pass. I have Ben's Game Pass. I have all those games back there. Some I've beat, some I haven't. And then I have my entire digital library of games. I think right now I have 140 some odd games in my backlog. And I'll prove it really quick. I use this really awesome app called Game Track. This isn't an ad or anything like that, but yeah, if I go to my backlog, look at, right now, I'm playing The Witcher 3. These are all the games in my backlog across all platforms: Steam, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, everything. There's, I think, 148 games in here total. That's way too many games that I either started and didn't finish, or that I bought and have never played. And I think, that's definitely on me, but I've spent all that money already. Why don't I enjoy that? I'll use the term breaking the bank, even though I'm not really breaking the bank, but I'm breaking the bank buying new games and being like, okay, I have to budget for this, it's $70, I've got to budget for this and play it, and I've got to hurry up and play it because something new's coming out, and there's just this weird consume more, when I have all these games I already have, like games that I've always wanted to play that for whatever reason I haven't, like Jak 3, Alien Isolation, Rainbow Six Vegas 2. I never beat the campaign for, even though I've put so many hours into that game. Why don't I go back and play that and finally beat it, and what's stopping me outside of this weird compulsion to be playing something new? And if I just wait, it'll be cheaper, and it'll be a better experience, because the game will have all the improvements. It's really kind of, I think that really when you separate yourself from social media, you start to realize how silly a lot of this stuff is. And that, I don't know, I've kind of felt this urge that I'm going to combat FOMO. I'm going to start a new initiative where I use that app, Game Track, to catalog my backlog. I can move things into what I'm playing. That app gives me all those year-end statistics of what I spent the most time playing and, what platforms I played on the most. And I think that if I look inward a little bit and try to play games for me again, not because I want to make a video about something, or I'm trying to get a new poppin' YouTube channel, or I'm, trying to be a great writer for Lognet, which I do want to do, but I think there are better ways to contribute to the games industry and games media as a whole. And I think that we're all getting a little disillusioned to what games media is, and everything is changing over to video and things are getting different. And I think content sort of like this and more pieces like this, rather than just reviews of games and how-tos and guides and, all this stuff. I think that there's a better model out there, and I think it all starts with us changing how we play games. And I think a lot of people are kind of getting on board with this, mostly because whenever I find that I'm trying to do something and start a new initiative, I don't know if it's because I'm being influenced by social media or some influencer out there or some podcast that I listen to, but it seems like everyone around that time is kind of organically feeling the same way. And this is something that I've just gotten kind of sick of as of late, and I've wanted to correct. So I have some solutions to this that I'm going to institute this year and see how it goes. The first of which is to use social media way less, like so much less than I did last year. Don't check it while I'm at work. Only use it at my computer. Don't have it on my phone. Try to remind myself that really nobody cares, And you may be watching this video right now and be like, yeah, dude, nobody cares, and nobody cares about your video. Dislike, click away. But I would argue that I think a lot of people feel the way that I feel. And unfortunately, I think a lot of us, we're so addicted to social media, and it's so subtle that we don't really care. Like, you see a lot of people talking about Twitter and how it was, there's a new CEO, and everybody talks about how much they hate this guy, but they won't get off of Twitter. They won't stop using it. I think that's a little suspect. Or not suspect, but I think that points to the addiction. Like, you have a moral stance in this. However, you won't stop using the thing. Why is that? I think it comes down to addiction, and I think that addiction bleeds over into games. So I'm going to try to, because I would self-admit that I am addicted, I'm going to back off, or at least really try to downplay my engagement with social media. The next thing I'm going to do is play what I want when I want. So when I finished The Witcher, which I started playing because I felt like I wanted to play it outside of any other influence, I don't have another game in mind that I'm going to start immediately after The Witcher. When I finish The Witcher, who knows, maybe I'll take a break, I might read a book, something might happen. But if I immediately get done with that and go, you know what, maybe I'll finally play Mass Effect. I've never played them, maybe I'll go play those. They were on the PlayStation Plus sale. I technically paid for it, so I may as well dive in. Why not? Play the trilogy, finally see what all the fuss is about. And I think that by doing that, it'll help me stay true to what I really want to do, which is live for me, not anything else. I know that sounds a little selfish at first, but when you realize I'm only taking in the entertainment that I want to take in because that's what I want to take in, not because there's some other driving factor that's making me want to do something. I don't know, that there's something about that feels like I'm being manipulated on some level, and I don't like that, and I want to do something about it. And I think that only playing what I want when I want, after I've disengaged from social media greatly, I'll more naturally be playing games the way I want to play them. And then what I'm going to do, I guess the only carrot I will dangle in front of myself is I'm going to kind of gamify playing these games. It's like, if after I beat 3 to 5 backlog games, I check the sales and I see that there's a new game that's on sale that maybe came out a couple months ago that I want to treat myself to, or something like Spider-Man 2 for PlayStation 5, something that I very much enjoyed the first one. I really liked Miles Morales, and then this one comes out and I want to play it, and Insomniac is one of my favorite developers, and you know what? I beat 3 to 5 backlog games and I've saved a lot of money. Sure, I'm going to buy this at MSRP and play it, and enjoy it. If that's what I feel compelled to do when that time comes, I'm not going to beat myself up for it, because I've kind of earned it by gamifying my backlog a little bit. And I think that app Game Track really helps. And again, this isn't an ad for that. I discovered it recently while looking for a letterboxed equivalent for gaming to kind of do something a little bit more personal. Maybe, you don't have friends on Game Track, but maybe it satiates a weird, it's like chewing nicotine instead of smoking it to quit the other social medias. Maybe that's what that is. I don't know. That's just now dawning on me, trying to be really transparent these days with myself, and whoever watches my videos. And that's why I'm kind of going for a more personal kind of approach to YouTube right now. For the last year, I was making retrospectives and reviews that were all narrated, and then at the end of the year, I got burnt out on that, and then at the end of the year, I made a Ratchet and Clank video about the Blu-ray that I finally acquired for the movie, and that I had more fun doing and than almost anything else, and so I'm trying to do more stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, that is how I'm combating FOMO in gaming. Let me know in the comments below if you feel similar to how I'm feeling, and if you're doing anything to combat FOMO, and if you have any tips or anything that you would want to suggest to me, I'm open to it, if you enjoy content like this, like and subscribe. Go back and check out some of my back catalog. If you think that I should just stick to that stuff, let me know. But, I enjoy doing this a little bit more. It's more off the cuff, more honest, and less overthought. But still, a lot of thought has gone into this, but it's just been the thing that's just on my brain, kind of been circulating for a while now, and I'm trying to think about things and then put them out like this. And so I hope that you enjoy it. And you can, even though I won't be on Twitter all that much, you can follow me on Twitter at Hitbox Detective. You can find me on Instagram at Hitbox Detective. And subscribe. And check out lordsofgaming.net if you enjoy reading news and stories and editorials from game enthusiasts that, for the most part, I think operate how I'm trying to get to. I think we all try to keep up with the zeitgeist to an extent, but I'm really trying to just bow out and just enjoy games the way that, this will encapsulate it, and I'll end on this. Whenever I go to visit my sister, I see how her boyfriend plays games. He'll play Destiny 2 all day, and he's having a blast. And then something like Elden Ring will come out, and he'll dive into that and 100% it and put all this time into it. And he's not doing that and then itching to get to the next thing. He just discovered Elden Ring, thought that looked cool, jumped into it, played it completely, and then moved on. He wasn't worried about how much time he was going to put into it and how he was going to miss out on other things. And that's kind of what I'm trying to get to. I want to enjoy games more naturally. I don't know how it got to this point, really. But yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching. Lead with love and stay hydrated.